KCRG TV9 Scott Sable and Chelsea Brown are in Cleveland ahead of Friday night's matchup between the Iowa Hawkeyes and the UConn Huskies. It is a Final Four matchup. I have to start with the Naismith Trophy for the most outstanding women's college basketball player. Caitlin Clark won again this year. This is pretty much what we expected.
Yeah, I'd say it's what we expected. I mean, she's the GOAT for a reason, the greatest of all time. So, of course, she's going to win the award. And Chelsea, she broke just about every record there was this year.
Do you want me to start naming some?
Yeah, I like that.
The women's scoring record, the men's scoring record. We're just going to stop there because we know that she's just been insane this season. And then even heading into this, she's averaging 32 points per game with her 9 assists. That's the second time that she's ranked number one in those categories. So it's kind of a no-brainer, if you ask me, after the season that she's had of why she won the award.
Yeah, I think it's also cool that she's so good in crunch time when it really matters. Some players are good in games that it doesn't matter. She shows up for the big games like she did the last one and just put on a show like no other.
Casually dropping 40 points against one of the best teams in the country in LSU in the Elite Eight. I mean, we've talked to her. She loves to shine as the stage gets bigger and bigger.
That's why I think she's going to have a great WNBA career, and she's going to rise that league. It's going to grow that league to like women's college basketball now if they know how to market her. Look out for the WNBA in the future.
I want to give a stat. 12.3 million viewers on ESPN for the Iowa LSU game. Let's put that into context for people. That was the most watched college basketball game ever on ESPN platforms. More than the NBA Finals last year, the World Series, and the NFL's Thursday Night Football. Do you think it's possible that Friday night's matchup between the Hawkeyes and the Huskies could break even that record?
I think it'll be close, maybe not quite as much. The reason the other one was so big because of LSU and Angel Reese and the combination and the rivalry that developed from last year's national championship game. But UConn, a very popular team. They've been there a lot before. They have a huge fan base, so there'll be a lot of people watching. Once again, a lot of it is Caitlin Clark.
I do also think, too, that was a Monday game,
Yeah.
so this is towards the weekend. More people will be off. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's potential. But like you just said, I mean, that was a rematch of last year's national championship game with Iowa LSU. Two very big women's basketball fan bases, but just like you said, too, UConn, they've had a huge following. And I think a lot of people want to see this rematch of Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to this game. Of course, they played when they were freshmen in the NCAA tournament, and UConn won that game.
Well, speaking of Paige Beckers for UConn and Caitlin Clark, they are competitors on the court, as we know. But I also hear that they're friends off the court. Do you guys know about that?
Yeah, you know, they played on the same Team USA junior national team together, so they've played together before, been to camps together before, and they're very similar, I think, in the style of play and just their mindset, Chelsea.
Yes, and I think Caitlin is going to want one back against Paige. And it's good to see Paige back to being healthy. She's battled injuries, missing a lot of last season. And then at the same time, too, just like you said, they've played on the same team. And that was kind of like a Haley Van Lith thing, too, when they were Iowa was facing LSU in this last one. Is Haley knows so much about Caitlin's game. Yeah. Caitlin knows so much about Haley's game. It's going to be the same thing, too, with Caitlin and then Paige, I think, on
and I
Friday.
think I was going to get the best Paige Beckers because she is finally healthy right now. I watched her in this last game, and she looked special. She looked like she did before the injuries.
Which is always good to see, right? And she will be sticking around UConn for one more year.
Looking forward to this matchup.
Yeah, me too. I think people all across the country are looking forward to this matchup. Caitlin Clark grew up wanting and thinking she would play for UConn. I was hearing that the coach never really recruited her, didn't come visit her. So do you think Caitlin Clark's going to go into this game against the Huskies with a little bit of a chip on her shoulder?
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. She's talked a little about it, how much it stung because she did want to play for UConn growing up in Gino Auriemma, and he just didn't offer. So all athletes, when they want to go to a school and they're not recruited by that school and they get a chance to play them, they're thinking about that big time, not getting that offer and showing that coach just what a big mistake he has made. And Gino's mentioned that it's a big mistake.
Yes, he's very happy that he has Paige, but at the same time, to see what Caitlin has done with her career is phenomenal. I don't think that anyone thought that she could be, playing at this level, but at the same time, I mean, Gino has so much praise for her. He does not, though, want his team to have 40 points by Caitlin Clark dropped against them on Friday.
Yeah, she doesn't have to look for an edge, but she does have one thinking about that. But her mission and this team's mission, and they're so focused right now, is to win a national championship. And Coach Bluter talked about last week and how laser focused in every practice and how ready they were to go. And obviously it showed in the games. And I expect the same thing here in the Final Four.
I think something, too, that I've also heard is that the team's not on social media. Just like you said, that laser focus, they're not reading anything. They're not looking at anything. They have one thing on their mind. And even today, they were very quick, in and out. The teammates that did come and did support Caitlin today at the Naismith Awards, I mean, they did their thing. They listened. They supported her. They took their photo, and they were gone. They were ready to get back to practicing, I'm assuming. But that just kind of shows how laser-focused they are.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage, I think, for Iowa coming into this game is the fact that they have 6-year players, 5-year players, and seniors. And when you know this is your last ride, you seem to rise to a level that you've never done before. And I've seen that in all other sports and throughout the years, that the seniors and the ones playing their final game play their best games at the end of the year.
And Gabby Marshall being back in Ohio, this has been a goal of hers. And just like you said, Kate Martin, I mean, 6th year. Caitlin convinced her to come back for a 6th year, and they're going to make the most of it.
Yeah, I think they found something in Albany, and hopefully they can continue to do that because they gel so well right now that if they do that, I think they have a legitimate shot to win it all this year.
Well, before we wrap it up with you guys, I want to go back to the Naismith Trophy Award ceremony. You guys were there. Caitlin Clark won the award for the 2nd year in a row. And I know that Paige Beckers was also up for the award, but she wasn't there, right? And the ceremony was a lot shorter this year, maybe to help the players be able to stay focused on the game.
Yeah, last year was a real problem in Dallas. They held this, and it took like 4 hours, and it was really hot in the room they were holding it in. And it really drained the players, took a lot out of them. So I think the coaches complained last year and said, hey, we'll come, but we want it to be quick. So that's the way they set it up this year, which was nice. And like you said, Paige was not even there. I'm guessing they had told her that she was not going to win, and that's one of the reasons that she was not there. And they're probably resting their legs, focusing on the game, and that's what the ultimate prize is. And even Caitlin talked about that. Well, this award is nice, but it's not really what I want right now.
And they're going to have to get a bigger room. I know that for a fact because we were in the ceremony last year in Dallas. Wasn't big enough. This one I'd say is a little bit bigger here in Cleveland, but not a chance for how this game is growing and these players are just excelling.
Yeah, you can see it at every event we're at, how fast this game is growing, like no other in basketball. And a lot of it has to do with Caitlin Clark. She, and Angel Reese, give Angel Reese some credit for this too. But I mean, this is a new game that we're used to watching 10, 20 years ago.
For sure.
All right.
Thank you,
we
guys.
Can't wait.
I can't
We're going to have much more. Yeah, we're going to have much more. We're going to have much more for you coming up in sports. And the sirens are going off. I think they're looking for me, so we better pitch it back to you.
We'll let you go. Scott and Chelsea, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Enjoy your time in Cleveland.
Thank you.